Hi, I'm Jose Armenta, and this is your Federal Employee Benefits, where we cover topics aimed at helping first federal employees like you make smart financial decisions. Today, we're covering the 8 things federal employees should do at least 5 years out from retirement. Now, if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Okay, let's dive right in. Number 1, consider working with a financial professional. Yes, I know that may sound self-serving. I am a financial planner who works with federal employees. But whether you work with me or any other CFP, it is recommended that you work with a professional to help guide you and help you avoid what could be very costly mistakes as you near retirement. I can't tell you how many federal employees I have seen make mistakes involving taxes, investments that have cost not only tens, but hundreds of thousands of dollars before they came and worked with my firm. So, number 1, the first thing you should do is consider working with a professional. Number 2, define your retirement goals. So, this includes what age you want to retire and why is that age important, right? So, if you want to retire age 62, why is age 62 important? This is not a decision you want to pluck out of the air. You want to be clear about why that's important to you. If you want to retire as early as possible, maybe your MRE makes sense. If you want the 10% bonus, then maybe age 62 makes sense, right? But just be clear about when you want to retire and why you want to retire at that age. Also, look at what this next chapter might look like. Are you going to have a second career? Maybe you're going to work part-time. If not, perhaps you'll want to volunteer. So really sitting down and thinking about what this next chapter looks like is going to make your transition into retirement much easier. And also look at whether you're going to relocate or not. Some folks want to downsize. Some folks want to move to perhaps a more retirement friendly state. And if that's the case, then maybe transferring there while you're still a federal employee may make sense, right? You'll get used to the cost of living, get a new routine down there. So sitting down and really being clear about what the next chapter of life will look like and what you can do now to make that transition easier is a best practice. Number 3, you need to find out where you're at financially. The only way we can get to point B is to know where we're starting from, point A. And to do that, we'll need 2 financial documents. The first is a budget, right? And not just a budget showing your income and expenses today, but a budget projecting out what your expenses are likely to be in retirement, right? Some expenses may increase. Let's say travel, for instance. Perhaps you're going to travel more in retirement, so your travel expense will increase. But some expenses may decrease, right? Maybe you're spending less on vehicle maintenance because you're commuting less. So having a budget and extrapolating to see what that might look like in retirement is going to be very helpful, especially when you're putting together your retirement plan and you need to look at how much retirement income you'll need. So your budget is going to be really critical for that. The next financial statement you'll want is called a net worth statement. And a summary of what that is, it's basically just showing your assets minus your liabilities equals your net worth, right? Everything you own minus everything you owe, and that's the result is your net worth. Now, your net worth is critically important because you're going to rely on your assets in retirement. And so monitoring that net worth as you approach retirement, making sure it's moving in a positive direction is going to be critically important. So you're going to want to have your budget and your net worth statement to understand where you're at financially. Number 4, tighten up your finances. Making the transition from actively working to retirement does involve some risk. So if you can clean up any financial loose ends, that'll help reduce some of the risk in your financial position. 2 things you can do. If you don't have an emergency fund, build one. Okay, a good rule of thumb is between 3 and 6 months worth of living expenses and having that in an easily accessible location. Think checking, savings account. That'll really come in handy when you're in retirement and a large expense unexpectedly comes up. You have to buy a new car or repair your roof. That'll help you avoid having to pull from your TSP unexpectedly. Second thing you can do is eliminate any higher interest debt or at least reduce it as much as possible before retirement. That's going to help position you to make a smooth transition into retirement. Number 5, estimate your retirement income. Once you have your budget and an idea of what your expenses will be in retirement, and you have your tentative retirement date, now you can look at what kind of retirement income you'll need. To do that, you're going to want to request your pension estimate from your HR. You'll want to pull your Social Security estimate from socialsecurity.gov, and you'll want to decide on a TSP distribution strategy. Now, when it comes to TSP distribution strategies, you have a number of options, everything from the 4% rule, which is the most common one, to income flooring, guardrails, and the strategy I use with my clients is time segmentation or the bucket strategy. Okay, so you'll have to decide how you plan on pulling and distributions from your TSP. How are you going to turn your TSP account into a reliable income stream in retirement? Okay, number 6, know the FEHB and FEGLI rules. Now, there's a lot of reasons why you want to start all of these tasks and do all of this planning at least 5 years out. But one of the reasons is because of the 5-year rule of FEHB and FEGLI. Okay, in addition to needing to retire under an immediate annuity, you'll need to be enrolled in your health insurance, FEHB, and FEGLI, the life insurance, for at least 5 years prior to retirement to maintain those insurances into retirement. Now, most folks are going to want to maintain their health insurance in retirement, and some folks may want to maintain life insurance as well. So if you do, just ensure that you're enrolled for at least 5 years before you retire. Number 7, review your TSP allocation. Waiting too long or reviewing your TSP mix too close to your retirement date can really put you in a bad position. So you want to review your TSP investment, the mix of your investments, and ensure that it is aligned with your risk tolerance and your TSP distribution strategy before you get too close to retirement. For example, let's say you haven't reviewed your TSP to make sure that it's aligned with your strategy for retirement and you're going to retire in a few months. Then we go into a recession. Your TSP has declined 50%. Well, you're going to have to eventually sell some of your shares to generate the cash you're going to need to live off of in retirement. And you don't want to have to sell your TSP, shares of your TSP at a loss. You want to avoid having to do that. That can really deplete your TSP exponentially. So to avoid doing that, you want to review your TSP mix and start to change the strategy from a savings strategy to a distribution strategy. And you want to do that ideally, or start doing that ideally, 5 years before your retirement. So you have time to do it without having to worry about beating the clock and worry about recession catching you off guard. Okay, last but certainly not least, number 8. Review your official personnel file. You want to do this way in advance of retirement because correcting any errors can take time. So a few of the things you're going to want to check, making sure your dates for retirement, the dates used to compute your pension, are correct. If you had any breaks in service, making sure those dates are correct. And if you bought any of your military service back, making sure that that's documented and correct. Again, you want to do this way in advance of retirement so that you have time to correct any errors. Knowing when to start planning your retirement is critically important to your financial security and having a smooth transition into the next chapter of your life. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like and subscribe button. That's the best way to support this channel. And if you're interested in learning more about how my financial planning firm can help you with your financial planning and retirement needs, go ahead and use the link below to schedule a free consultation today.